Oh, are we back?
Hey, Lefty!
Mark, Molly.
Oh,
It's
Jason
up.
Momoa.
I just got off the set of Fast X and I'm here to do book club with you guys.
Oh man, do you have a copy of the book? But like, if not, we can just like walk you through it.
You
Yeah.
know, unfortunately, I don't have my copy with me today, so I'm going to have to take a back seat and listen to what's going on. I did read the chapters though, because
Oh, fantastic. Jason Momoa always on top of things.
I love me some lemons. So let's go.
Welcome everyone to the Business Building Book Club. I'm your host, Coach Molly from Visibility Hacking Studios. We've got Jason Momoa and Lefty the Video Jedi. And of course, coming in all the way from Texas, we have Mark, the mental marketer. Heck yeah, Juneteenth. Oh my goodness, yeah, Juneteenth coming up right around the corner.
It's in just a few days.
Amazing. So this we have to start out with a little bit of an apology, everyone. Last week knocked a couple of us off our feet. Up here in the north, we are experiencing a ton of wildfires. And so the smoke and the all of that got to us. And so thank you for holding on.
I must say that I'm living in the lower part of the United States, so we didn't see any of the effects. But I saw a lot of news reports. It was like all you saw on television over the past week, and I was just worried about you guys. I was worried about you all, and because I know you all live right in that area too, huh?
Yeah, Lefty's definitely way closer than I am. Where we are, so Lefty's in my town right now. When the winds were gusting down, it would pull the smoke in, so we'd get these waves of like, it's kind of okay. Now it smells like you're in an ashtray. Now it smells like you're in a campfire. Now, like, oh, it was just a few days of that. Schools were all inside. All of my outdoor programs, we had to cancel those. It was a lot, and it really, really got to your lungs. So
yeah, it sucked. It definitely sucked, especially out in the out in cottage country where I am. Like you could smell it for sure.
But you guys are okay?
Absolutely.
Thanks to inhalers and a great healthcare system, we are good to go. So this week we're going to dive into the chapter we were supposed to be talking about last week, as well as what we're going to cover for this week, because I know those of you at home who are following along, you're sticking to the schedule, so we are too. So we're going to start out with part 3, which is about turning your connected community, new graphic, your connected community into your super fans. Up until this point, we've walked our fans from being just casual viewers, just following along, to becoming active members. They're going, hey, this is for me. Then they move up the pyramid and become connected. They feel part of the community. They were actively members of the community. Now we're pushing them over the edge. We're putting them to the top of our pyramid and helping them become super fans. This is the crux of the whole book. And boy, oh boy, Pat Flynn comes with the brilliance. Oh man, I love how he uses such simple examples, and he tells these stories that put us in the moment. They're quick, easy to digest, and really memorable. So overall, let's start with the first chapter in this section, chapter 14. Remember the lemons. Oh man, who has ever worked in service industry before? Because I sure have. He kicks us off with this story about being a waiter and having this regular customer and the
Mhm.
process he goes through to really wow this customer and make them feel like they're a regular, make them feel welcome, make them feel at home. And these
Yeah.
include the lemons. This customer, first, he realizes this customer is asking all the time for specifically 3 slices of lemon on a plate with their order. And so he remembers this. And then next time he gets a new thing to remember, and he picks out this guy's regular drink order, and he picks out this guy's regular food order, and he picks up the guy's name, and he really starts to reflect that process. And you see this customer glowing and really being wowed week by week. So
Yeah.
that is remembering the lemons. What did you guys think of that chapter?
Yeah,
This-
it's a good one. You know what? It's almost like a tactic that my wife uses when we go to restaurants, right? Every time we go to restaurants, the first thing that she does is ask for our server's name. And the reason for doing that is because, the majority of people will just be like, "Oh man, where did he go? Where did she go? Excuse me, excuse me."
Yeah.
Except now my wife can go, "Hey Jen, hey Mark, hey whoever." And that person's ears are going to perk and turn around immediately, which gives us better service. And in turn of giving better service, we give back a better tip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
You're
just,
collaborating on your evening experience.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just a really, really, I found that chapter to be like really awesome because, we had a couple like restaurants and whatnot growing up, right? So being a part of that environment, it's like super important to like understand people's needs and what they want. And then you get to understand who comes in and
Mhm.
who your quote unquote favorites are going to be and whatnot. And yeah, it brought me back for sure to be like, oh damn, like I wish I knew to do that when I was like
Mm.
16, 17, right? But it is what it
Yeah.
is, the learning
Oh,
with
yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
no, it's
This-
great how
Mhm.
he brings this into the business world, and like little things like that can just literally take you 10 steps forward.
Mhm.
This chapter really resonated with me. Remember the limits. So I'll tell my story, right? It's when you come. Oh, hey, Jen. Sorry, she's late to the party. Welcome. So here's my story about remembering the lemons. When I was growing up as a youngster, just going out in the dating scene in the clubs, we had this little strategy that we would use to gain credibility with women.
Okay.
And it was about going to the bar and telling the bartender that they just introducing ourselves to the bartender so we were familiar with them. And when I showed up with the date, the bartender would say, "Hey Mark, would you like your regular whiskey on the rocks?" "Yes." "And what would the beautiful lady with you like?" "Oh, it works wonders."
Oh man, are we gonna get into like secrets of picking up? Because I had a few of those growing up.
No. We are
Secrets of
talking
picking up.
about building super fans.
It's the same thing. Super
It
fans.
totally is.
It totally is. It totally is. You need
But
you,
let's take this idea of the lemons and let's apply that to business. How can we remember the lemons in the businesses and the services that we provide?
It's Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Pay attention. Pay attention to what your audience does. Pay attention to something that you've seen on their social profile. I think when you can pay attention to someone, they go to that. We're talking about the top of the pyramid now. This is that last part that makes someone into that super fan. And when you can personalize it with something that's meaningful to them, it's meaningful to them. Just an example, I love complimenting people about something that they might have on, or like with you, Molly. Now, I know that you love to wear different color and different style glasses.
Oh, I love her collection.
Right? So
I've seen it firsthand.
Right? So I know I've seen the black and white ones with a color on this side and a different color on that side, right? Yeah.
I'm looking at my collection right now, and it's like wouldn't even fit in this camera right now.
The funny thing is that Molly,
those things.
if like typical women will have like a walk-in closet of shoes, Molly has a walk-in closet of glasses.
Yeah. And you can see them switch with outfits.
Yes. Hey, the accessory is very important. But Mark, you bring up a good point, right? Like it's about no matter, like everybody's posting different things. Everybody's posting their opinions. Everybody's posting what they've learned for the day or what they've learned that week. But there's certain things that don't change because if you think about it, we are creatures of habit. And because we're creatures of habit, when you can start pinpointing certain repetitions within how the person posts and what they talk about and how they talk about it, then you can start really diving into more of that psyche and getting just getting to understand them more on a more personal and emotional level. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. And that's when you can really, pinpoint the lemons, really.
Oh yeah. That's what really sticks with the person because they remember you for remembering them.
I'm curious. I'm curious to know what my lemons are, or have you guys not found them yet? Do I go straight and then hit you with the curveball and go left?
Your back. I love what stands out about you are always in your videos. I think for me is your background colors, and then you come with these little unique outfits, these shirts that are uniquely you. And then I've seen you come with some uniquely used shirts. That's what I see. And then, besides, I think you go with a nice little green background, or that's just consistent with your branding.
It's more so consistent with my branding, but I'm always open for collaboration. So for any of you who have seen my short videos or even my long YouTube videos, shoot me some colors. I'm more than happy to change my background up and give you guys something new. I definitely go either green or blue, but hey, I'll try an orange or I'll try something different if you guys want me to.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
Let's get psychedelic.
Whoa.
Well, Jen says, Lefty, your confidence levels always speak to her. So I think that's fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think something that definitely pops up a lot is potentially one of your lemons is a lot of pop culture, cool movies. You're like a guy's guy kind of content. I kind of dig that. Like I can see your personality in that. Like, yeah, I'd want to hang out with Lefty just based on the personality and the kind of stuff you talk about and the perspective you take that way.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I see that.
Definitely.
Yours?
So like if I didn't know you, I'd want to approach you on the basis of, hey, did you check out this recent movie or this cool commercial, or try and take that view of the kind of the stuff that the brands that you're speaking about and you're analyzing. I'd want to come at you at kind of an angle like that, or like a WrestleMania or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I would have to say you know what? There's one lemon that points out to me is I like you bring these like unique but not unique at the same time questions in your content. Like it's almost like It's almost like every time a video of yours pops up, it's like, oh, I would have never thought to think of that, and she's asking me this. How can I answer it? And that's what I love. That's what I love the most. That's one of your lemons for sure.
I love asking questions.
Oh yeah, that's why you and my wife get along.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
I dig that. All right, so we got a lot to cover. So let's move on to our next chapter, which I love, which was actually a piece of advice that I got when I first started in the digital marketing world. So this next chapter, chapter 15, is about sending unexpected messages. He's talking about a specific app that you can send, like once a customer buys a product, it'll send you a notification. Then you can pick up the app, send a video message personalized for that customer. And then he talks about how wonderful the app is. But I want to talk about the idea of simply sending a customized message to say, hey, thanks. And Pat had mentioned this previously in the book. And Mark, I know you perked up when he mentioned this, was just randomly sending emails to members of his email list, just asking how you're doing, what you're interested in, how things are going. And now, what about the idea of now the idea of Pat sending those personalized messages in an email made Mark say, I want to check my email more often now.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. So the idea of now potentially having a video message being sent to you, whoa, I'm in. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, this is one area where I kind of had different ideas than what he said in this book. You read books and the ideas sound really good, but then over time, as people start using them, they get they become less effective. Mm-hmm. And just for me and my experience, okay, if people don't have a lot of time, right? And sometimes little voice messages are really nice to just listen to in your inbox, but this is being overused a lot. I've seen it being overused a lot. And sometimes having these personalized video messages, we're talking on Facebook, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking on Facebook. And I don't think they're as effective as they once were. That's my take.
The voice notes or the video messages?
The video messages.
Okay.
The video messages. I've had people, and maybe it's even more of, okay, you have to take steps to this video message. Not the first message that I receive is a video message from you saying, hey, Mark, I was just thinking about you. When in reality, I know you're just trying to pitch me something.
Yeah.
So so he brought this video message in, not in the beginning of that relationship, but maybe a little bit later on. I love giving video messages from from people that I've already had conversations with and people that we've already gained some type of a bond. But someone initially sending me a video message, especially through the DMs, it's just, as they say, it's a little sus.
Yeah.
I agree. And Jen agrees as well, in part, that the personalization, super important. The video message itself still is engaging. It's just, where in the process should that fit? Where in the customer's journey should that be? When I first got that advice, it was literally probably the second or third piece of advice I ever got in the digital marketing space at all. And I went, aha. And that was from, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Garrett J. White. He had said, just pick up your phone easily. Not the biggest fan of his. But his advice is completely true. Just hop on your phone. new customer, new customer, meaning they have chosen to purchase, meaning all of that walk up ahead of time. You're not pitching them anything. They've decided, right?
Yep,
You
Yeah.
send them a
they're a
message.
subscriber.
That's completely different. Yeah. Or going from someone who has already been engaging with your content already. For example, even just a little message. I posted a thing recently about the revolution that is coming, that I'm working on with Lefty secretly, wink wink, nudge nudge behind the scenes. And I posted a little thing about it, and I was just like, watch this space for more to come. And the lovely Marley Jacks commented like, I'm in this, I'm for this. And so that just revives my energy as well. And it's one of those
Nice.
things, just a simple message to say, hey, I see what you're doing. I see you. I see
Yeah.
that work. I think that's really effective as well.
And I think another one of those messages too are those those messages where like you can record a video but you're like in the corner and they can see you. Like,
Yeah.
like you know what? Those are fantastic, but until you've had a conversation with me, how can you really dissect my business and dissect my landing pages and
Yeah.
dissect everything, right? Like
Yeah.
I feel like those people have great intentions, right? But you still need to get a little bit of information from that person before you just turn around and go, hey, so I was looking through your landing page and I see that
Here's
this
the
isn't
mistake.
there and that isn't there and I could use you
Yeah.
here and I think you're like, how do you know? Maybe I do have a crappy landing page, but maybe it's also generating me $1 million in sales. You have no idea, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like the people that do that are doing fantastic work. It's just they gotta put it at a different stage of the game.
Right.
Well, what Pat says in the book
those are the
is
exact type of videos I was talking about.
yeah. Yeah, what Pat says in the book is, he says, I took this one step further. Once I realized just how powerful these small, unexpected video messages could be, I decided to do a little experiment and send personalized videos to 50 people in my audience who I knew had been fans for a while. So that's his pre-qualification of people already on their journey with him.
Yes.
Some were customers, some were very active people in the community, and others were friends and entrepreneurs that I hadn't heard from in a while. So a good mix of people along that journey. This is page 152, Mark, paragraph 2.
Okay. Okay.
I hadn't he used this app we talked about, Bonjoro, to input each name and email individually. I sent a personalized video through the app. It was the remember the lemon strategy combined with the power of the individual message. All in all, it took about 2 hours to complete. The next day, I woke up to a barrage of email replies to my videos. Here are a few of them. Pat, this is why I love you, man. Thanks for the video, and I hope you and the family are doing well. And he lists all of these different messages that he got back from his fans being like, hey, yeah, one of them actually, the next one in line is, what a surprise, my friend. My friend, Pat, just wanted to say I loved your last blog post. Huge fan already, and you've just proven why. That, I am with so much. I think so. Instead of just sending those messages out to cold traffic, when you send them out to warm and hot traffic to your community that already knows you, and you're now reflecting back to them the lemons, their personal interests, their personal the little glitter that makes them spark, right? That is so powerful. What do you guys think of that strategy?
I like it. I like it. And it underscores the point that you can do the right thing, but not do it at the right time. You can do the right thing and not have the pre-frame before it. And it is. And he also says it's nothing that hasn't been done before, but I like for me, when I like to send unexpected messages, I will say for instance, most people are used to only getting a lot of messages when it's their birthday.
Yeah.
That's the
Yes.
norm. That's what everybody is expecting, a barrage of messages on your birthday. So I like to send a random message and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. And I might do this 3 or 4 times a month, right? And I'll look, but what I do is I like this, not talking about email messages, but DMs. And I'll look on my DMs and I'll say, who haven't I talked to in a while? Or their name might come up on my personal profile and I see that they have done something. Perfect example. This t-shirt right here was sent to me from a friend that I'm telling you, like, we go way back to like military days, and we were getting in trouble together when I was in my teens. And now he's actually a part of my audience. And I just saw him post something on his personal page making the shirts, and I said, I love it. And then I went into his DMs and I said, hey, how have you been? He was like, hey, good to hear from you. Send me your address. And I said, cool. Sent him my address and I said, send me 2. Here's some money. I didn't want him to send it to me for nothing. So I'm said, hey, where's your Cash App? Send me 2. So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, completely random.
I love it. Lefty, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody always talks about, oh my God, I feel like my Facebook groups are dead. I feel like I'm not getting enough engagement. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting that. The reality is, you're not going to be like, just because you post something, you can't expect, let's say, 200 out of your 200 Facebook group members to like just jump on it and be like, oh my God, this was the best thing ever, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be like maybe 10% of those people that, truly want to engage and be like, oh my God, this was amazing, right? But the remaining 90% or 80% of them, they're lurkers. They're in the background. Maybe they don't, maybe they enjoy your content, but they just want to enjoy it from afar. And I feel like a lot of the times us as business owners can miss out on fantastic opportunities because we're just like, oh, okay, well, if only 20% of the people are engaging, I'm just going to talk to those 20% and I'm not going to talk to the rest of the 80, right? But in actual fact, even, Mark, what you do too is like, you just go through your list and be like, who haven't I talked to? Maybe it's somebody that doesn't really engage with your content very often, but is in the group, and like just reaching out to that person might be, you might actually figure out like, hey, I watched your last 10 videos and they were fantastic, but I'm just not much of a commenter. Now you're like, oh, okay, this person actually does care, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely an amazing things can happen in the background, right? And it's always in the background. It's never in the foreground, right? Because even in Hollywood movies, like everything happens post-production to get to production, and then everything happens pre-production. You know what I mean? So you don't actually, when we're watching the movie, we don't actually watch the movie being made. You know what I mean? We just watch the movie. So it's time for us to get our pre and post production game on. That's what I feel.
I think you make a really good point there, because I think most people are predisposed to not come forward and comment a lot. But when you send them those personalized messages, I think you discover, and we've all had the experience where we reach out to someone and they'll say, oh yeah, I've seen what you've been posting. or oh yes, I've seen. So it's a dual thing. You get to let them come to you closer, build a deeper relationship, and you also give them permission to reach out to you, because most people aren't predisposed to really comment, like, or go out there. It's the point you were making, Lefty. You think that only 20% are watching, but there's really more.
Yeah.
More.
And I mean, like, okay, fine. We're all victims to this. You know, when we first started our Facebook groups, sure, we let in a handful of people that might not be our target audience, and
Yeah.
you know, they're just there now. You like, sure, you can still engage with those people, but like you probably don't necessarily need to, but you now can really figure out who is your like who is your who, essentially, you know, like through your group. And it just happens, right? Like you're never gonna be on Facebook and you're gonna have like a Facebook group with 10,000 people and like all 10,000 people are your people. Like it's just not gonna happen. Even at 1,000 people, it's not gonna happen, right? So you just gotta do that deep work, do that pre-production game, you know what I mean? And get in there and just talk to people and say, yo, what's up? Like, how's it going? How can I help you today? Throw an arm around the shoulder, be like, hey, buddy.
Start building your pyramid.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, talking about the pyramid, the next step in getting those fans up to the top of the pyramid. Oh, of course, it would be helpful if I turned my mic on. Talking about the pyramid, getting people to the next step of the pyramid is our next chapter here, which is getting our people involved.
Yes.
So he gives us the idea, this beautiful story about Doctor Who. I am a Doctor Who. Are you guys Doctor Who fans?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So knock knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who.
Ah. That's the knock knock joke I use to qualify who's my friend and who's not.
Nice.
So Pat gives us a story here about Doctor Who, and he tells us about one of the actors who ends up playing the character of Doctor Who later on in the series, who as a young boy was so enthralled with the series, he wrote to the producers asking to be the president of the fan club, and later on ends up being able to play that character. And so Pat gives us this idea of like, what happens if we hire our fans? What happens if we get our super fans involved in the community? We give them a place in that movement. And that can be quite a wide spectrum. It can be all the way to actually involving them to the point of hiring them. Or we can get their feedback, user-generated content, for example. Like there is a beautiful spectrum there. But I thought that was a really powerful, simple but powerful chapter. What did you guys think of that?
What resonated with me was when he was talking about getting people involved and the ways to get them involved. By volunteering and becoming a part of the member. And I, when I read the chapters, I think about, okay, how am I applying this, or how could I apply this? But there is a feature on Facebook that I have used inside of my Facebook group. And we've all seen the top fan badges.
Yeah.
But in the groups, there are also expert badges. Have you seen the expert badges? And the expert badges give your members the opportunity that whenever they post, they're given that badge right along next to their name. And it makes them more engaged and active to see that right behind their name. It's like, yes, I am an expert and I am participating in the success of this group.
Yeah.
And I remember I made a post. I said, I'm looking for a few experts. I'm looking for a few people that I can give this to. And I put that post out there. I got 3 or 4 entries. And what I said, this is what I said. I said, I'm awarding the expert badge to, but I actually gave it to everyone.
Nice. Smart.
The award goes to Lefty.
I would be honored.
That's a really smart process that not only generates authentic engagement with your community, but it's also highlighting status, elevating status in a way that makes people feel like they were a little bit special in the group, which is cool.
Yeah,
generates that sense of belonging.
And I think there's also a title of group moderator.
Yes.
A group moderator, so that you can recruit, you can recruit fans from the community to help, moderate the community, give their input. They've been in the group for a while, so they have some knowledge. And my group is about funnel building. So we talk about, copy. We talk about strategies. We talk about call to actions and colors and buttons and a lot of stuff. So, and if you can, come out, volunteer, and help and become a part of the community, it's an awesome way to turn them into super fans. And if you're watching out there on one of my channels, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or somewhere I'm posting this video, great to see you. I love shouting everyone out.
Yeah.
So our next chapter is a pretty hefty chapter, but I think it ties perfectly into business, and that's offering platinum access. Having exclusive content that's only available to certain tiers of your fans is, I think, really cool. And what I thought, I wanted to take this conversation in a different direction a little bit. When it comes to exclusive content nowadays on so many different platforms, there are embedded ways of having that paid content wall. Yeah. So like on YouTube, for example, I know Lefty's loving the YouTube stuff and paying attention to what he gets access to as he grows his channel. Is memberships. So you can have YouTube memberships. You can have super thanks that we've talked about a few times on this on the show. You can have all of these different little ways of either being tipped for the content you're putting out there regularly to everyone. You can also build those paywalls internally on these platforms as well. I know one of my favorite entrepreneurs in the space that I love to watch, who is one of my biggest role models. She created Hero FM, which is this audio membership-backed audio podcast platform kind of thing. Carla White.
It's Carla White. That's
Carla White. Yeah, and she's like such a badass woman in the tech space, and I think she's remarkable. Everyone should know her. But the idea of having these paywalls and all of that, what do you guys think about that for exclusive content? Is it too much? Is it too little? What are your thoughts? Lefty, you look like you're about to yell.
No. Look, the exclusive content stuff on YouTube is fantastic, right? Mm-hmm. The only thing that people have to, you got to read the fine print. I feel like I have one of my beard hairs in my mouth. But you got to read the fine print, right? Because YouTube on the exclusive program, they take 30% of your wages.
Yeah.
Right. So you gotta really. And you also have to think of it too, where it's like, if you're coming from like a high ticket space, like you can't turn around and make like a $5,000 package, like a $10,000 package. Also, you can't even do $5,000 packages because it's $5,000 subscription on YouTube. Like you bet your ass you got to put on some pretty hefty content. And then, you know, if you want to go into that low ticket space where it's like, let's say $100 to $500 a month, or even cheaper, you know, you now have to take into consideration that 30% that's being deducted from you. So now you have to position things accordingly. But the cool thing is that you can have tiers. Like YouTube allows you to have like a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3, which is awesome. And for brand new channels that are starting out and have not reached the big monetization section yet.
Yeah.
YouTube has started the YouTube Partnership Program Lite Edition. Which means you can now it's 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours of watch.
3,000?
Yes. You don't get all the perks of the 1,000 and 4,000, but you still get to be in the monetization if you have 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours of watch time.
I saw that. Are you there yet, Molly?
And
I was just checking.
And they have ruled it out in the US, Canada, and some South Asian countries and whatnot.
Yeah.
Molly, are we about to uncover something amazing for you?
This is like
I had heard whispers of this. Okay,
this is like super new. This
is brand new, but it came from vidIQ themselves. So you know it's legit news.
Yeah,
so it's still not saying it yet, but I need 1,000 more watch hours, which I can do because I haven't been posting long form video, but it's all coming up again now.
I need 300 more watch hours.
Nice.
So I knew it was 500 subscribers, but I didn't know what the watch time requirement was.
3,000. They just dropped it to 1,000 less.
All right.
Okay, hopefully by next episode, I'll have an update for you guys.
Oh, that is so. I really want to.
Although it still doesn't feel good that I'm achieving that goal because the bar got lowered. Just putting that out there.
I'm really curious to know, like, what you're open to. That, let's say, that you get that I get, or like what I have that you don't have, like. That's what I'm curious to know.
Once I get it, we'll do a special live and just walk through it and figure it out.
Love it.
This is cool.
Open up some opportunities, and then
Hey, I always said, and I said it, you know, a couple months after I changed my thinking on short form to long form again. But I always said that YouTube is the sleeping powerhouse. Yeah. It doesn't matter, like Meta, TikTok, all these platforms can try, okay? They can try, but YouTube will always find ways to just obliterate everybody. Okay?
You know what YouTube has also added? I don't know if you noticed this, but during the lives, they've added reactions.
Yes.
You noticed that? So it's not, okay, so typically you could only put one like on it. And or you know, like just a thumbs up. That was it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Now
for the whole video.
Now during the lives, they've added the, you know, like Facebook Live where you can smash the heart button, you can smash the like button. Yeah.
And then you see them flutter.
Yes. That's awesome, right? Let's see if we can put a couple on this video.
They just have a bunch of like neuroscientists in a lab. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we need to get those dopamine levels up. How do we do it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's take it to the next chapter, which actually begins one of the final sections, or the final section of this book, actually, which is nope, nope, not the final. One away from final, I think. Anyways, part 4, the dark side of building super fans. And I really appreciate that Pat put these chapters in and put these thoughts in, because the power of having a community that's engaged and having fans who are willing to buy anything you put out there, there is responsibility that comes with that. And I'm very adamant about that. I'm focused on impact entrepreneurship and actually making a difference with our businesses and with our skills and with our talents and with the connections we make. We have a really powerful position when we play this game.
Absolutely.
And so if we do it right, we take on that responsibility and that duty to move forward in a positive manner. So these tips, I thought they were really cool. So just to highlight a couple of them, just so you get the idea of what we're talking about. He talks about the different traps that we as leaders of movements can get caught up in. And the first tip is that we might have a chip on our shoulder. We might start to develop that air of snootiness and ego. I thought was really interesting. He also says tip 2 is you let the fame and the money get to your head. These are obvious things that we've all seen happen in our worlds, in the business world. We've seen ego take over. So what did you guys think about these tips and the idea of the dark side of Superfans and the responsibility we have?
You know what? From personal experience, when I was DJing and I was I was making the money that I was making, it definitely, the fame and the limelight and all that definitely did get to my head. I put myself on a pedestal. Not to say that I was never humble or that I was never like, if somebody wanted to come talk to me, oh God, don't talk to me. Like I was never, hello, you can't sit with us, all right? I was never that kind of person, but I definitely felt changes in myself in which I almost acted like I was cooler than the people coming to see me. I don't know. I don't think it was. I don't think it was anything to do with the money, though. But now, at this stage of the game, no. I mean, when I get money, I love it because I get to do more to help someone else out, right? Like for me, it's a tool. For me, it's a way to continue doing everything that I can do. Like, I'll be honest with you. The reason why I started my YouTube channel to begin with, and the reason why I want to get it to the 5-figure months that I want to get it to, is because if I can literally just use YouTube as a way to earn my income so I can do what I love doing, which is film videos and do it forever and never have to ask anybody for a dime, like that's a passion of mine. That's what I would love to do. And that's why my YouTube success is so important to me, because I don't want to have to use my livelihood. I don't want to turn my passion into my livelihood. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to have my livelihood as something that I can do because I love doing, not because I have to do it, you know? So yeah, that's where I noticed that's where my split and change in mentality came from. So that's where I am right now. If I can get it elsewhere, I will help as many people as I can.
Yes. With reading this chapter, the first thing I thought about was there are signs of the traps of fandom all around us.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at celebrities, just look at what happens to them as a result of having so many super fans. Sometimes you see them in public sometimes, and they present this persona as they're this great person, but then you talk to someone who's met them and they'll say,
Yeah.
that person's a jerk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it might just be because they were having dinner with their family, and you wanted to approach them on a time when they weren't really ready for you to approach them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he kind of talked about, that getting a chip on your shoulder, letting the fame and money get to your head, but you try to respond to everybody. But in the chapter, he also talked about an experience that he had where he kind of overreacted, and he was going to send out this bad tweet about someone until he had to think about it and say, wait a minute, maybe I'm overreacting a little bit. Maybe it was, maybe I should have a little bit more respect for, this person that I'm a super fan of. So when I think about the hidden traps, I do have sort of a time management, I'll say, opportunities.
Yeah.
Because as you get more people, as more people start to come from you, you only have a limited amount of time. You only have a limited amount of bandwidth with other things and other obligations that you have, and you don't want to seem rude or come off as rude, but you still want to acknowledge everyone. So I think that's a hidden trap, is actually maybe not having a chip on your shoulder, but not coming off as if you have a chip on your shoulder, and still being able to maintain your personal life, your personal space, and your personal life. Because I think Lefty told me this one time. He said you have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries, and I think that was something you talked about your wife telling you one time, Lefty, about taking calls at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. Because if you're not careful, you will be.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said. It's definitely it's all about like setting boundaries and understanding who you're speaking to. Like speaking to a friend on a Saturday at 10 p.m. is not the same as trying to speak to a prospect on a Saturday at 10 p.m. Right? Like you need to set both business and personal boundaries and whatnot. So that's something that I learned, though I'm still kind of learning to it's not a matter of being less available. It's just a matter of learning to respect my own time.
Right. Yeah. So it's not letting the fame get to my head, but it's being able to create boundaries, set boundaries for your time, and still be available. But there's some boundaries, and it's not 10 o'clock on a Saturday night when I'm having dinner with with my family. This is a little bit of my time. But
tip though,
go ahead.
Tip though, for what you said about like the celebrity at dinner, okay? Because I have been around plenty of celebrities. The best, instead of the typical celebrity would pretty much be like, okay, you know what? You've interrupted me. Like, thank you so much. Like, what the hell? Blah blah blah, and just be completely rude, right? But remember, you have control of what you want to say to that person. right? So if it was me and I was the celebrity status, and depending and let's say it's like a limited spots thing, even though I just put out a video about the whole limited spots, right? But let's say you're at a restaurant, you're having dinner. I'm having dinner with my wife, and um, 50 people approach me, but I want to say something specifically to 10 of those people. It's really as simple as a matter of like, hey, I really appreciate you coming up to me right now, but look, I'm having dinner. But here's the thing, I'm going to be here on this day and this time. I'd love for you to show up. Let's chat then. You know what I mean? Even as a celebrity who has millions and millions of fans, you can still be selective as to who you want to give insider information to. You don't have to give it to all 1,000 people that approach you. You can give it to 50 people. You can give it to 100 people, right? But it's just a matter of just quickly saying, hey, look, thanks, I appreciate it, but I am in the middle of something. I'm going to be here on this day. Let's chat then.
Yeah. How do you handle all of your fans, Molly, coming at you?
Molly has so many fans. How do you do it?
Oh man,
get in line. Stand in line.
You've seen the glasses. Well, the bigger the glasses, the bigger the message. Don't talk to me. Cover my face. I have my bodyguards, and now I just order everything on the app, so I like don't have to worry about going out.
Oh my gosh, shut the blinds! I see paparazzi.
you see them and you just walk away.
Not me. Or I pretend that I have a twin sister, and they're always getting me mistaken for that Molly. I'm just the twin sister. Sorry. Yeah. Well, my friends, it is time to wrap up this whole book, Superfans from Pat Flynn. So before we close the book entirely and put it back on the shelf, I want to know your one best takeaway, as quick hit as you can, and then after that we will do our rating of the book. So Mark, what's your big takeaway from this book?
Okay, my big takeaway from this book about turning people into super fans is about taking them through stages and understanding that you don't go from meeting someone to a proposal. You hear that a lot, right? You don't go from, hi, would you marry me? But there's a courting process. There's a courting phases. There is the introduction. There is the commonalities that you gain, and he basically went through each of those and talked about them, and just understand that everyone is going to be at different stages also, but meet them where they are and walk them up the pyramid of super fan. It's the pyramid of fan. That's my biggest takeaways. And also I always love when an author actually practice what they preach. And I can see it evident in Pat Flynn. You can see it on his current social media profiles.
Yeah.
Awesome. Lefty, what about you? What's your big takeaway?
Yeah, definitely understanding where people are at what stage and when and how to move them forward. Also being intentional with who you're moving forward, right? Because you don't have to use up all your breaths on everybody, right? So being intentional with who you feel is reciprocating what you're putting out there. And one thing that I feel like I do, or I'm just delusional at this point, is being like following up more with the people that are just chatting with me and being in my group and wanting to be in my group and just seeing what they're up to and what they're all about and whatnot. So that's my takeaway. I think Pat did a phenomenal job with this book, and I'm sure there's a whole hell of a lot more that he could have put into it, but yeah, what he gave us was top notch information, and it's brilliant starting points, at least as to how to move people through that journey.
Oh,
Awesome.
absolutely.
I would say my big takeaway, I agree completely with what Mark was saying. That was what I was going to say. So as not to repeat what we've already talked about, I would say the nuance of the video, like custom video message process, like everything we talked about today, I thought was really nice. It was a way of taking what were separate ideas and plunking them together in a process that made sense and wasn't too big and overwhelming. It was actually remarkably simple, yet effective. So that would be my big takeaway. Pat's amazing, of course. And so our overall, what is our overall grade out of 10 for, or out of 5 stars? What is our out of 5-star rating? Mark, what's your judging?
I'd give it a 4 stars. 4 stars. 4 stars. It was easy to read, very easy to read. The chapters weren't incredibly long. He broke it down into sections. He gave a nice little intro and told lots of stories and examples. And if you read the book, take the online accompanying course along with it. It is very well put together, and you can tell all the time he put into it. It's a deep dive into creating Superfans. 4 stars all the way.
What about you, Lefty? What is your grade? What is your rating?
Definitely, I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 5. He not only gave me new ways of thinking about how to approach people, but he also reintroduced things that kind of like I already knew that you forget about because so much information is constantly coming at you, right? So yeah, definitely a 5. And just like Mark said, easy to read, broken down chapters in a way that you can understand. Yeah, all around fantastic book.
It wasn't like Gary Vee's book with 2 paragraphs on the column, right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
For layout purposes, Lefty gives it 5 stars.
Yeah, for the layout. That's where the extra. It's 4 plus the 1.
Yes.
I would say I'm actually trying to come up with I'm a very I need a grid, I need a rubric, a matrix to come up with this. So I'm thinking a 5-star in my head would be something that I would refer to as a reference book that stays on my shelf and I pull out on a regular basis because it's that full of great information. You might not want to read it cover to cover all the time, but it's something that is just so chock full of information. I don't think Superfans meets that level, but I think it is an incredible book for people who are in that process, who are trying to move from stagnation to action. I think this definitely fits really well into that category. It gets an extra little bonus point for from a meta perspective, how it's laid out with the exercises, why it's short. It starts with effective stories and then goes straight to the point. It has the exercises, it has the accompanying course. In the back, he has resources, he has reference sheets, he's got so much, and how that then links into his bigger business. So from a meta perspective, that is a really fascinating flow to watch. So I will give it a solid, excited 4.5 stars.
Amazing.
I didn't know we could go half stars, but okay.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
And also, I'm also going to give a 5-star rating to our super fan of the book. I think we should do this for every book. Our super fan is Jen St.
Jen
John
St.
for
John, what's up,
incredible,
Jen? Thanks for
incredible
watching.
comments. And this comment, I think, wins all of it. So, Lefty, for
Superhuman.
everything that Pat left out in this book, he should rewrite it, or he should write the sequel, add in all of that stuff, and now call it Superhuman Fans, because
I love it.
I say yes.
I say yes.
Say yes.
I
love that. So, Jen, thank you so much for being part of our book club. We absolutely love it. And on that note, my friends, it is time. It is time. Someone give me a drum roll. Drum roll, please. Our next book is suggested from Lefty himself. It is The Brand Gap. This book, I have only casually jumped through it, and I love it already. One of my favorite books that I recommend to everyone, which is so out of the box. This is like a sister to that book, and I'm very excited to dive into it. It breaks the mold. It's not just dense words. It's not a chapter book. There's an exercises involved in it, but it's definitely going to push our idea of what a book should look like and what it should contain. So, Lefty, why did you suggest this book for book club?
I just cover.
To give a little context, there is a series to that book. There's the Brand Gap and the Brand Flip. So I suggested this book because I feel like a lot of people don't really have they fight with their own branding. They fight with not only how they want to show up, but who they want to show up for. And I feel like these books really give you a greater understanding of how to mesh the two together, you know, and how to really take exactly what it says, the gap of your brand, which is the fight and the struggle of colors and schemes and this and that, and really put it together to build the lifestyle around that you want to build it for the people that are going to be watching. I think it's incredible. I've read the Flip. I haven't read the Gap, so I'm really excited to dive into this. But I obviously knew enough about Brand Flip and obviously the summary of Brand Gap to suggest it. So I am fired up.
I'm excited just by seeing that cover. It's nothing like a.
I'm pumped because the subline here is how to bridge the distance between strategy and design. That is a place that I love to play in. So I'm so excited to get really nerdy about it with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Be fun. Oh, yeah. I opened up to the best page. It's just a wall of cookies.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. And it says, a retail package is the last best chance to make a sale. So true.
Wow.
Here we go.
Wow. That's a powerful message right there. It's the last. It's not the first. And that's what people pay most attention to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And are we starting this next week?
Absolutely. So we are going to spend the next 2 weeks. I'll give you a little roundup of what the summer is going to look like for book club. So you guys can get your books ready. You can bring them up to the cottage with you, and you can join us on your own time, or you can join us live, of course, every week. So the next 2 weeks to round out June, we're going to read through this little quickie here. Got a couple quickies for you too. So the Brand Gap for the rest of June, the 22nd and the 29th. Then we're going to kick off July, knowing that the first week of July is holidays on both sides of the border. We want to give you a quickie that you can read over a day or a weekend. We want you to take quick action, but get really great variety of information for you. So Lefty, again, hooked us up with another fantastic book that we're going to get through, which is Give. This is it says the ultimate guide to using Facebook advertising to generate leads, to generate more leads, more clients, and massive ROI. I know I am definitely looking forward to this super quick book about Facebook ads. That's something I definitely want to dive more into as well. So we're going to take 1 week to read through this super quickie. So just the first week of July. Then for the rest of July and for half of August, we're going to do 6 weeks on this book here, which is Wired for Story. We'll put out a little graphic with all of the different books that we're reading for the summer, but this is the writer's guide to using brain science to hook readers from the very first sentence. We're constantly talking about the importance of storytelling. So I figured let's actually pull out some storytelling wisdom. So this book is divided into different cognitive secrets and story secrets. So we'll cover a variety of those each week. And then finally, to round out the end of August into September, to get ready for Funnel Hacking Live at the end of September, let's start engaging. Let's start talking about networking, about really making the best out of the connections we have with each other. So one of the speakers this year is a returning speaker from Funnel Hacking Live, and that is the one and only McCall Jones, who is one of the queens in my world. And she recommended this book to me years ago, saying it was one of the books that really transformed the way that she engages with people. And that is Never Eat Alone. I spent years trying to get my hands on a copy of this book. It is rather hefty. It is a big book. Yes. But there is so much value in this book. We are going to get through it together. This is a process. We're going to spend 5 weeks on this book. Maybe what we did previously, for those of you who are just joining us more recently, but when we read through Jab, 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 Right Hook from Gary Vaynerchuk, what we did was for certain episodes, we each were given a different chapter to read through and report back on. And we might do a little bit of that as well, because there's some crossover in these chapters. But I definitely want to read this book before we go to Funnel Hacking Live, because all of this is so perfect to implement while we are there in person at such a big event in our worlds. And then
who knows?
That's a thick book.
That's a thick book.
Whoa.
I like them thick. It's like 300 and something odd pages. It'll be good. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Even if we skip sections, that's fine. We'll be good. But the big secret, or not the big secret, but something special, we're going to have a special episode at the last week of September, which will be dedicated to the books and discussions about books while we are at Funnel Hacking Live. So since potentially, hopefully, fingers crossed, we will all be in the same room at the same time, potentially for that last episode in September, we might be able to have a cool roundup and a cool discussion in person. So hang tight and join us live in person for that episode at Funnel Hacking Live. That'll be an adventure.
You know, you might
that's
just
my birthday week.
You might just see me there.
Even better. Oh man, I can't wait for Funnel Hacking Live, simply because I am obsessed with that lazy river at the hotel. So I might go down a day early just to lazy river it.
I better start working out.
Yeah, me too.
No. Yeah. I am in total beach body shape, right? Like beach balls are a shape, and I am in that shape.
Beach body.
All right,
my friends, that's it for this book and this episode. We will see you same bat time, same bat channel, 7:30 a.m. Eastern on the Visibility Hackers YouTube channel, on the Mental Marketers YouTube channel, and on Create with a Lefties YouTube channel, and of course, the Visibility Hackers Facebook group. Join us next week. We're going to dive into the brand gap. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to kick off summer with style, I think. So until I see you again, my friends, remember we love you. Be excellent to each other.